All right. Well, this is going to be another epic episode of Fun Football Podcast, your destination for, Packers. Today, we're going to talk a little Cowboys, unfortunately, some Tampa Bay Buccaneers, which are one of my favorite teams, and a whole bunch of fun NFL talk, some fantasy football. We're going to, on this episode specifically, I want to talk some pretenders and contenders. But before we keep going, I am Izac with Fun Football Podcast. This is the last Friday show for a few weeks. Gone a little vacation, but I've got Joel from, I love the name. I told my wife, I was like, guess the name of the podcast coming on tonight. She's like, what? I was like, 3 guys, 6 balls, NFL podcast.
Yep, it's a unique one for sure. If you guys search us on social media, make sure you type in the NFL podcast part. Otherwise, you might find some unexpected things.
Yeah, you do put the NFL in, because I bet you started with that name and you're like, oh yeah, we got to add the NFL.
Yep.
Okay, so really quick, dude, tell everybody about your show. How long have you guys been doing the podcast for?
Yeah, so me and my 2 co-hosts, Will and Avery, who weren't able to make it tonight, we started in March, and March of this year, we just kind of one day we just started talking, and we got together and suggested that we start a sports podcast. And because we've been friends since we were 7 years old. And so we just grew up like playing basketball, playing 2-hand touch flag football, that type of stuff. So we've really been into sports our whole lives, and we just kind of hadn't talked for a while. And then we got together on the phone one day and just decided to start an NFL podcast. So it's been since just March of this year. It's going really well. We're having a lot of fun. And so I think we've kind of found our flow. We've done 30 episodes now. And so I think we kind of have our flow going. So it's been good.
You're doing great, man. For 6 months in, I remember my first 3 months, I wasn't even doing video 2 years ago. No, seriously, you guys are doing really, I would have thought that makes sense, because I remember you popping up this year, but I thought you guys have been doing it for a couple of years. It's a really good show, man.
No, yeah, none of us had had any previous like podcasting experience or anything. We kind of just like figured it out, and it's been really fun. So yeah.
You guys, no, I'm a fan, because I try to do my show similarly, where I ask just fun NFL questions, and it's just there's so many different angles you can take on the NFL that mainstream media doesn't take. So I really like it, man. How are you feeling about your Bucks this season?
So I got to give a little bit of a backstory here.
Okay. All right.
So I've only been a Bucks fan for like a week. Okay. and here's the reason why. So
okay.
If anybody's listened to any of our episodes, so myself and my co-host Will are formerly Dallas Cowboys fans.
Okay.
And my co-host Avery has never had a favorite NFL team his whole life. He's never had one. And so Will and I, throughout our whole lives, we've been Cowboys fans, and Will's actually the reason I was a Cowboys fan. And we just, the buildup of frustration has been building and building and building over the years. And, things like we're going all in, and then Jerry does nothing. And then saying Derrick Henry was not going to be good if he joined the Dallas Cowboys. Just stuff like that. Like, just the buildup of just frustration. And then he trades Micah Parsons. Not only does he trade Micah Parsons, he trades him to the Packers of all teams. The Packers, a team that has continuously beaten the Dallas Cowboys over and over and over again in the playoffs. Why would you trade Micah Parsons to the Packers of all the teams that you could trade him to? Why would you do that, Jerry? And
just for fun, man.
Yeah. And so myself and Will, we're just like, dude, I can't do this anymore. Like we got to be done, man. Like we got to be done with the Cowboys. And
I live near here. I tried it for a year. You can't do it, dude.
Yeah. We can't do it anymore. And so
it's a roller coaster.
Our co-host Avery, who has never had an NFL team, he's like, if you guys actually leave the Cowboys, like a full divorce from the Cowboys, I will find my favorite NFL team for the first time ever. And we were like, deal, done. And so
I love this.
Yeah, probably like 6 weeks ago, we decided to go on this journey, and we surprisingly we found all of our teams a lot quicker than I expected to. And so I have become a Bucks fan. I'm a huge fan of Baker Mayfield, Emeka Egbuka, Bucky Irving. We're all Oregon fans. So Bucky Irving, we really like Bucky Irving because he went to Oregon. And,
Makes sense.
and yeah, so myself and my co-host Avery are now Bucks fans. We didn't do that on purpose. That's just the way that it ended up, surprisingly. So we're both Bucks fans now. And my co-host Will is now a Rams fan. And so
I see.
It was kind of an unfortunate game for him on Thursday or just last night. But yeah, he's a Rams fan, and myself and Avery are now Bucks fans. So it's only been like a week, but I'm feeling
you did the right thing, man. You divorced. I moved here and I tried even as a secondary team, and now I've kind of taken the Stephen A mantra. I'm just gonna enjoy hating on this team. Like I wore an Eagles jersey and I live right near Dallas after the Eagles beat them week 1. And people were like, "You're a Packers fan." I hate that, and I was like, "Well, I hate your team." I got so much crap for it, but my wife loves the Eagles, and I traded for Saquon in my dynasty league, which is really going poorly. We can talk about that later, but it's a Saquon Philly. It's a Super Bowl jersey, and it's freaking my dad. It's the nicest jersey, and I've always loved Saquon Barkley. So people are like, you can't wear another team's jersey. And I'm like, well, I hate that they beat my team, but I still like. My wife's a huge Eagles fan. She hates the Cowboys. That's always been her favorite team because they beat up on the Cowboys.
Yeah,
what's up, Jamie?
My wife's a Steelers fan, and my father-in-law and my wife are Steelers fans, and so they always gave me a hard time about being a Cowboys fan too. So
the documentary kind of highlights it, man. Like it's almost like, what it reminded me of today. I was actually rewatching the doc because it is a great documentary. Have you seen the Netflix thing?
Yeah, it was really good. Even if you're not a Cowboys fan, it's a great documentary to watch.
It was like The Last Dance, but what reminds me of that is the breakup of Jimmy after back-to-back was almost not quite, not even close, but it was approaching the same vicinity of crazy stupid as the Bulls deciding just to let Phil Jackson go after 6 rings. Now that's 6 versus 2, but it was off of back-to-back, and it was purely, I know Jimmy played a part in it, but if Jerry could just let good be, they would have probably would have won 3 in a row. They really would have. Maybe the 49ers take them anyways. I don't think so, though.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think they would have won 3 in a row for sure.
Maybe even they get that 4. I don't know, because attrition and just the hunger factor may not have been there because they were really motivated after getting Dion. But I feel bad, man. Jerry is like, that doc shows how much fun he can be. Really. Even now, he's a blast, but he shouldn't be the GM of a team anymore.
He's a blast if you're not a fan of the Dallas Cowboys. He's
also a blast in that aspect where it's marketing and it's like it's entertainment. Like he's damn good in that element.
He is
even now,
but he just has not adjusted to the current NFL. Like he just does not know how to build a team in today's NFL.
I agree. There's coaches, I think, from the 90s. Maybe Jimmy actually would still be good, but there's coaches from like 20, 30 years ago that I don't think would cut it now with the players and how different they are. Like you can still be up their butt, but you nailed it, man. He doesn't. The fact that he traded Mike, and I know that we tied y'all. Like I know you're not a Cowboys fan anymore, but the Packers, clearly, I was devastated. We can talk about it. I've been saving it all week, but why trade Micah? It felt like it was purely Jerry's ego. Like, is there another reason for it? Like I've talked about it a lot. So
I don't understand anything that Jerry Jones does when it comes to his players, because it's like, why wait as long as you did to pay Dak Prescott $60 million a year? Like that is insane, dude. Absolutely really insane. And then the same thing with CeeDee Lamb. It's like, why did you wait that long to pay CeeDee Lamb? And then he does the same thing with Micah Parsons. He waited that long, and this time it ended up being a trade instead of paying him $1 bajillion like he did the other guys. But I mean, I know the Packers paid him a lot of money, but still, like this time it didn't end up in him staying on your team. It ended up him being on a different team that has beaten you continuously throughout the years in the playoffs. So,
and the game on Sunday night that's Dak at his best, which is still a high ceiling when he's playing that well. I wish he had a defense. I mean, Micah Parsons would have helped that. But if you're cool with it, you want to just hop into that game really quick, and then I kind of want to talk about the Rams game last night. That was wild, and I've got a lot of other questions. I like the kind of ones you guys ask in your show. But what were your takeaways from that Packers Cowboys game? I feel like my team, I would love to see them get healthy, like the Cowboys with CeeDee Lamb. But I want to see my team get healthy. And I also think maybe it was a maturity check. They need to stop thinking they're just going to beat teams on the road. And they also need to get healthy, but they need to grow up a little bit. That was what I took away from my game. And the end of the clock stuff and the at overtime was some of the poorest clock management I've seen by a quarterback and a coach in a while, for me at least. Because you played yourself into a tie when you had a chance to win. I didn't like the way that ended. Not that it would have definitely ended up in a win, but they would have had an opportunity. So
Yeah.
those are my deep thoughts on it. Floor is yours. What'd you think?
I mean, it's crazy how it all played out, right? So you see, like, I think it was like the Packers were up like 13-0, and then the Cowboys block that field goal and run it all the way back, and they get those 2 points. It's like, if that doesn't happen, it's not a tie. Like, just the craziest thing that can happen in a game can make all the difference in a win or a loss or a tie. Like, that's absolutely nuts. So, I mean, it's just wild. Like, anything can happen in an NFL game. But like you said, like, Dak Prescott was at his best, and he has to be at his best every single game in order for Dallas to tie, not just to win, to tie. And so that's been the problem with the Dallas Cowboys is I feel like they've had a good defense from time to time, but they've never had a great defense, right? No. And like even in years when they've had on paper what looks like to be a great defense, like when they've been top 5 in stopping the run, they get into the playoffs and then that all goes away because Jerry Jones hasn't put a focus on building the interior of that defensive line. And so that's really, really hurt the Dallas Cowboys I've been a fan for 25 years of the Dallas Cowboys. And I don't think I ever remember ever having a dominant interior player on the defensive line. I don't.
That is a good one. I mean, they tried dropping. The problem is Jerry he does have some football acumen. Like he knows how to get some players in there, but he's been struggling. The closest thing he's had has been probably DeMarcus Lawrence, but he was a defensive end. I don't remember.
Right.
You guys your defense was solid 2 years ago when the Packers rolled in there. They were good. They were really good at home, and they were playing pretty solid under the former
until
DC.
The playoffs.
Exactly, and it's like you need the guys in there that are like Michael Irvin that just can't. Even though that guy is wild, he did not want to lose. Neither did Emmitt Smith. Mm-hmm. Neither did Troy Aikman. But they also, what made those 90s teams special, I wish the documentary went into them a little more, but I'm happy they featured the main dudes. But Charles Haley, you had the offensive line that had some greats, Daryl Johnston. And Jerry kind of killed himself with that because when I say that, like killed his own era because it was pre-salary cap and then it barely went into it. Like the last ring, it started in 93. But so it was like it started taking effect right after, like near the end of that Cowboys run, right in the middle of it, but it was short. You've got to build the team the right way. You can't spend all the money on offense. Cincinnati and Dallas haven't seemed to figure this out yet. Like, you've got to allocate some resources to the defense. I'm happy my Packers did. I still think they need a number 1 receiver, and I want to see if Jordan Love's got it, but I've seen enough highs from the guy. I think that the ceiling's there to make a run. But it'd be nice to have a number 1 receiver. Like, damn, I would be happy to have a CeeDee Lamb. But then you look at Dak, you nailed it, man. Tony Romo didn't have this either. Tony Romo never had a defense. Never. One year, the late 2000s, they were good, 13-3, but that's it, man.
Yeah, and there's really 2 things I look at.
That's a good point. Jay Ratliff, is that seriously the last good Cowboys defensive tackle?
Yeah.
That's not good.
And I don't think you could call him a dominant player.
No.
I mean, he was a good player, but he's not like Aaron Donald.
No,
not even close to that. Not even close. So there's 2 things I look at with the Dallas Cowboys is And the reason one of these comes up to mind is because of what Jerry Jones has said about this player. When he had the opportunity to go get Derrick Henry, how can you say that Derrick Henry is not going to do well on the Dallas Cowboys when you had a player like Emmitt Smith?
True story.
Look at what Emmitt Smith did for the Cowboys. You don't think Derrick Henry can have at least a similar type of impact?
You can't devalue the running back and the defense. Look at what Philly's proven. And I know Baltimore didn't win a ring last year, but look at how much value Derrick Henry, you just nailed it. Like, I know he might be fading now. Maybe. I don't think so. I think he's going to come back.
I think so too.
He's just got to stop fumbling the ball. I think he's trying to do too much. But
yeah,
dude, like Saquon last year with the Eagles, Josh Jacobs with the Packers. Right. The running back matters. I know you're not going to pay a guy 30, 40 mil right now. It's the top is like 20 to 25, Saquon Barkley. But even with Saquon having a down year, he's pulling so many eyes. And Josh Jacobs does the same thing. And Derrick Henry. Javonte Williams is kind of saving the Cowboys right now because he's playing lights out. They got to pay it. Don't let another guy leave. You had Tony Pollard. He walked. You had Dowdle, who was decent, walked. You don't want Javonte to walk.
No, and I'll say this about Javonte. So when we were doing our top 10 fantasy running backs for the season, my co-host Will said that Javonte Williams was going to be the number 7 fantasy running back this year. And Avery and I looked at him like, dude, you're freaking nuts, man. Javonte Williams. And then
I need to come on here and save my fantasy teams because they've been trashed.
Yeah, I mean, he's made some really good fantasy calls this year, but like we were like, dude, you're absolutely nuts. Like Javonte Williams at number 7, no way. And then he goes out week 1 and he has a great game, scores 2 touchdowns, and he's been really good this year. So I don't know.
He's been great. I actually sat him against Green Bay because the Green Bay D had been lights out. Okay, this is one of my favorite people. He helps on a bunch. His name's Peter. He said, my takeaways, y'all tied at the end of the overtime to a team that might have obliterated the week before. He's right. Although the Bears then did just barely beat the Raiders, but they're a weird team. I think that's going to flirt with 500 if their defense can do anything. It's starting to look like Caleb on the offense, or they also need a running back, but that passing game has been interesting. Much better this year. One last trash talk. You want to talk about the first one? I'm going to temper my expectations on Contender this year, but I want to see my team healthy, and I want to see if they can grow up. They're the youngest team in the NFL, and they're starting to look like Euro 23 Cowboys. You remember that year where they'd won? Well, actually, it'd been 2 straight years. They were at like 17 straight home victories, but they couldn't win a road game. And I know we walked in and won that playoff game, but they were dominant at home and subpar on the road. And that's been the Packers so far this year. I don't want to make this a Packer pod. I want to move to other stuff. But they look dominant the first 2 games. I think there's more to it than that. They had some injuries that happened. But I'm wondering, do you see, this leads into my segment. Do you see my team as a pretender or contender? We'll just kick this off right now, because I want to ask about your team next. Your new team.
Okay. So
not the Cowboys.
I think the Packers are kind of, I don't know, to be honest.
I don't know either.
I don't know.
Because
you've seen them be really good, like against the Lions in week 1, they smacked them.
The Commanders.
And yeah, the Commanders too. But then like against the Browns, like I know the Browns have a good defense, but their offense is terrible. And so like I can't figure out what the Packers are yet. And I really like what I'm seeing from Jordan Love. Like I feel like he is doing great. You could put him in the MVP conversation because he's playing great. But I don't know. Maybe it's the lack of having a number 1 receiver. Maybe it's something else. I don't know. But I don't know. I feel like that team has the potential to be a contender, but I don't know if how they're playing right now makes them a contender.
I also want to see if our coach can be aggressive enough to at least go for it at the end of the game. You might lose, but you aren't going to win a lot of games playing the way we played at the end of that Cowboy game. And it was the same thing with the Browns. We were playing for the field goal, and we were playing with a 10-0 lead, which isn't that much. And it reminded me of McCarthy. And I hate that conservative crap. It's not like I want you to be aggressive every time, but I want you to have a killer instinct. So I'm in the middle with you. I think they're just outside the top 5, but I got to see more. It's been 4-game sample size. It's hard to tell. Their offensive line's also been banged up. They have a lot of injuries like your team, which I'm going to segue to because we've talked enough Packers. The Bucks also have a lot of injuries. We've got a couple linemen out. Y'all have Wirfs. He's been out. Godwin's just coming back. Mike Evans is banged up. Winfield was out a bunch last year. He's finally back, and I've got him in my ADP. Baker, though, has been a little dinged up too. You guys have a ton of injuries. Where do you see – what did you make of last week with your team against the Eagles where they made a late run?
Yeah, so here is one of the reasons why I picked the Buccaneers as my new team, actually. And so I feel like players that play for the Buccaneers actually want to play for the Buccaneers. Like the players on that team, they love playing there. And I feel like when you have that, it elevates your team and makes your team be able to do things that not every team can do, right? And I know they didn't win against the Eagles, but in the first 3 weeks, they came back on a game-winning drive to win those games. And so, not every team can do that, especially 3 weeks in a row. They almost did it 4 times. So what I love about the Buccaneers is I don't feel like they're ever out of the game. I feel like you can never count them out of the game.
Especially win or Baker. Lose. Especially with Baker.
Right. Win or lose, you can never count them out of the game because Baker Mayfield at some point is going to bring them back. And I personally feel like if the Eagles did not block that punt and return it for a touchdown, the Buccaneers probably win that game. I know that was right at the beginning of the game, but that changed the whole course of the game in that first half, and it put the Buccaneers down right from the start. And they were down 24-3, and then Baker brings them back. And then in the second half, Hurts doesn't even complete a pass. And they're making these long, I think it was like a 77-yard touchdown to Egbuka. There was a 72-yard, I think, to Bucky Irving. Like Baker Mayfield just brings them back and brings them back and brings them back closer and closer and closer. They ran out of time, but they were never out of that game. And so that's what I love about the Buccaneers. Now, I don't want to say that they're a contender right now because I am worried about the injuries. So I want to say if they can get somewhat healthy by the time the playoffs come around, they can be a contender. But if they just continue to get banged up, I want to say pretender because you can't go into the playoffs. And I know he's only going to be out for like a couple more weeks, but you can't go into the playoffs without Mike Evans. You can't go into the playoffs without your starting right tackle. And I know they got
McMillan. I don't know how long he's going to be out.
He's supposed to be out at least for half the year. So he's going to come back, but who knows what else is going to happen by that time. And so like, I feel like with some of these teams, like it just happens every year where you see a couple teams where they just are just getting just majorly injured throughout the season. It's like, dude, come on, man. Like what else can happen?
Like the Lions last year.
Right. And so far, I feel like there's a couple teams like that, and one of them is the Bucks. And so I'm hoping that doesn't continue because if it does, I don't know if they can be true contenders. Although I still don't think they'll be out of a game, but they need to get at least somewhat healthy in order to be true contenders.
What's up, man? I feel like it's kind of been both of our teams. Yours definitely more than mine, but offensive line is crucial, and you know that with Wirfs. And then we're down. We were already down receiver. We lost another one. What's making me intrigued about your team is your defense has been mostly playing better, but even pre-injury, I feel like without the supporting cast, Baker's been trying to do, well, he's had to play hero ball, but he's having to do a little much. And I want to see him rein it in a little, if possible. I think it'd almost be better. He's always going to be a guy that's going to throw some picks, and it's no knock because I love that not really, like the way how aggressive he plays. I love that, honestly. Love is similar. There's a lot of quarterbacks in the NFL like that. Like Dak, most years is in that range as well. But they don't get back in that game without Baker, but then that pick happens.
Right.
So that's unfortunate, but it's one of those things you kind of have to live and die with it. The dude has been one of the best reclamation projects I remember ever seeing. It's been like, it's almost made me like a low-key Bucks fan. How you said it earlier, how awesome this has been, dude. And you guys have got, if you get all your horses, you're one of the NFC is stacked. I think you're one of the teams that has at least a puncher's chance to knock out Philly.
Yeah,
I think these are, and the Lions, maybe the Rams or 49ers. If the 49ers get healthy, they're another weird team I can't figure out. We're going to get into that one.
I hate that the 49ers are good.
Mac Jones, like, what is that, dude?
I hate that the 49ers are good.
Do you take them seriously? Because now after last night, I kind of do. It's like, how the hell do you do that with three receivers, your tight end, an offensive lineman, Bosa's out, which should have been, that was the one I thought that was going to just knock him down. I'm going to openly admit this. So I did a TikTok stream last night. I had a super busy day at work. I didn't tell you this story yet. I was like, Dad, can you help me with some sit starts? Like, I'm a sped teacher. We had progress reports yesterday. I met my wife for early lunch. Like, I left work a little early and we took my kiddo to an appointment. So I didn't get my conference at school. So like, it was just one of those days. And I had the stream last night. I didn't have time to like do a bunch of research. Like, I was that busy. And I had like 30 minutes to do it when I got back. But I was like, Dad, can you help me out? I was working on I was finishing paperwork. And he gave me McCaffrey as a sit. I was like, what? But then I thought about it. I was like, oh, it's a bold take. The 49ers have everybody out. What if the Rams just like throw three guys at him and slow him down? Forget it. So they make a little graphic with the sit starts. And there is sit Christian McCaffrey. I start the stream 15 minutes after the game starts. He already has a touchdown. I got so much crap on that last night. And I was so surprised that the Rams came out as flat as they did. Like,
I was too.
I take that team as a serious contender. I really do.
Yeah. I kind of have a similar story. So somebody on X asked me about if they would start Matthew Stafford in that game. And I asked, who's your other quarterback? And he said, well, I can't remember who. Oh, he has Caleb Williams, who's on a bye, and he has Jackson Dart. And so it was between Jackson Dart and Matthew Stafford. And I was like, I feel like I would go with Jackson Dart because of the rushing upside, right? And so I looked
and the 49ers D has been good.
Right. And I looked at ESPN and their rankings for quarterbacks, and Jackson Dart was ahead of Stafford. And so I was like, okay, like I'm thinking the same thing as the experts, right? The experts.
Uh-huh.
And so I said back to him, I said, I would go with Jackson Dart because Matthew Stafford doesn't have rushing upside and Jackson Dart does.
What's up, Jason?
Hey, Jason. And so then every time like Matthew Stafford goes out and throws a touchdown, I'm like, dude, is he going to make me look like an idiot? And then he throws the second one. I'm like, is he going to make me look like an idiot? And then he throws the third one. I'm like, dude, come on, man. Like, hey, at least I was right about Matthew Stafford not rushing. Okay. At least I was right about part of it. But
that's totally true. Stafford didn't run.
I did not expect Matthew Stafford to have to throw as much as he did. And so then I think he threw for like, it was either close to or over 300 yards. And then
he was cooking
3 touchdowns. And I'm like, dude, way to make me look like an idiot, man. Like,
that's exactly, people were like, he had 20 points, retire. People on TikTok are kind of brutal.
Dude,
and it went like viral, brutal. Which was wonderful and annoying at the same time because I had a really bad take. And I also had a bold take of sitting Jamar Chase, but he's been outside of that one game without Burrow. He hasn't been very good. I'm starting because I don't have another option in the league I have him in, but it's not like I'm starting with the confidence if he had Joe Burrow. I'm not.
Right.
He hasn't been the same.
Yeah. To follow up on that about fans being brutal. So I will say, and I apologize to any Eagles fans that might be listening to this right now, but
Eagles
and
fans,
your wife and your wife. So I put out a post and this was, I'm not going to lie, this was kind of rage bait, but I put out a post.
You got to do it.
I put out a post right before the season started. And I said, there's a chance that the Eagles start 0-5. And
I remember you did that. You did do that.
And Eagles fans were so pissed. They were mean. They were mean to me.
When you attack their team, like talk bad about Justin Herbert. Watch what happens. If you want a rage bait post, talk about a team's quarterback. The Charger fans, I didn't realize how many there are. Say Justin Herbert isn't a top 5 quarterback. Go post it on Twitter after this. Watch what happens.
Dude.
All
And
rage, buddy. It's going to be all rage. I've done it.
I don't understand that because I'm just not that type of fan. Like, and maybe it's because I was a fan of the Cowboys, but like if somebody would tell me like the Cowboys suck, I'd be like, yeah, dude, I know they do. Like I'm not the fan that's going to be like upset at you if you tell me something about my team. And I'm not going to cry about it because you say something bad about my team. Like it's true.
I took my L. I was kind of bitter, but I mostly didn't say anything back to people. I just was like, because here's the problem. I live near Dallas. So tying that stupid game after getting Micah did hurt a little, but that one day sucked. But then I was like, okay, I'm not going to let this wreck my week. So I gave it one day. It wasn't a god awful day. It just was a little rough because I work with a bunch of Cowboys fans and they're like, we tied you. And they're acting like it's a win. I'm like, right. Well, it shows you the different expectations for my team.
Right. Exactly.
But you got to take them in stride. Like last night, I had to laugh it off. It was a little annoying, but that's the best you can do. There we go. He's done. That's my buddy, Mr. First Down. There we go. He is having a rough week. If you can't tell by the colors, he's a Titans fan.
Yeah. I've interacted with him on social media. Yeah.
Okay. You know him. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's just hoping his coach gets fired. That's where he's at. He wants Callahan up and out of here.
I don't blame him at all.
Okay. So let's pivot to, let's keep talking 49ers Rams. I don't think I consider the 49ers a contender, but if Shanahan's got this team rallying this much, they're going to be a tough out. On the flip side, do you still see the Rams as a contender or are they a pretender?
So this is actually kind of a funny story too. So because my co-host Will is a brand new Rams fan, switching over from the Cowboys, we were kind of texting him throughout the game, like giving him a hard time. He was giving himself a hard time. He was like, man, this secondary is as bad as Dallas. Did I bring Dallas's secondary with me over to the Rams? And after the game, I texted him. I was trying to make him feel better. And I was like, I'm not worried about the Rams. And then I realized, oh, that could kind of sound bad because like, and then he texted me and he was like, wait, as like a Bucs fan, you're not worried about them, or like, you're not worried about them, like moving forward, like as a team. And so I was like, oh no, like, I was like, no, like, I'm not worried about the Rams. Like they're going to make the playoffs. Like, I'm not worried about the Rams.
Yeah.
And I was like, we're not close enough to our week 12 matchup between the Buccaneers and the Rams for me to start talking trash on your team yet, dude. So that was kind of funny because he kind of thought like I was saying, like, I'm not worried about the Rams. Like as a Bucs fan, like when we play you guys, I'm not worried about you guys at all. Like we're going to beat you guys.
It's too far ahead. You want to look forward to the next several weeks.
Right.
I get it.
Right. But yeah, like I feel like the Rams are going to figure it out.
I think so too.
They were so close in that game. Like if McVay makes just a better play call at the end, they probably win that game.
It's like the Eagles game. Honestly, they were up 26-7. If McVay had been a little more aggressive, I hate that it's always about aggressive, but maybe go for one of those fourth downs. They probably win that game too. They're right there. That defense is real. Like, is Stafford, I think you asked this question. I can't remember. I've seen it all over the place. Is Stafford a top 5 MVP candidate right now?
Yeah, that was our post.
That was you. I knew it. I was like, I knew it was you. I think so, dude. The way he's playing, and I get it. I would have said Saddam too. Even with Bosa out, these weird. You saw it last night. These weird divisional games on Thursday nights are like you get some weird results, like we just did. Stuff happens, but Stafford is starting to look pretty darn good with Nakua and Adams. That's a legit one too. And then he gets Tutu Atwell for a big play a game. Kyron Williams is solid out of the backfield as a receiver. You got like a 4-horse machine there, and the tight ends aren't bad anymore. It's like you got a multitude of weapons rather than just Puka Nakua and the ghost of Cooper Kupp. Like you've got everything going. Their team I'm looking out for. This has been such an unpredictable season. I'm happy I don't do pick'ems anymore. There's other than the Eagles winning and the Bills, it's been damn hard to pick the right teams every week. And it always is, but this feels like an extra weird season where it's like what do we know at this point other than there's been feels like more injuries than normal this 4 weeks in?
Dude,
Uh,
so many injuries.
like you got to get rid of the turf, man. The Malik Neighbors thing was such a bad look, dude. Like, can't have that. It's too many marquee players going down too. It's not like a special teams or like, even though that sucks, it's not like a special teams guy or a depth piece. It's like significant players going down.
Right. There was a post on Instagram by the breakdown with JNL, and he does a lot of posts
Oh yeah, dude, that guy's great.
Where he
He's good.
updates you on like injuries that happen and stuff to players. And I've just been commenting on him like every week. I'm like, dude, this is insane. Like, this player's out now, this player's out now. I'm like, when are these going to end? And today I commented on one of his posts. I was like, dude, is there like a video game setting we can like turn off the injuries? Because like, this is nuts.
It's too much. I agree. It's really, really impacted the NFL right now. I mean, Jaden Daniels is going to come back. That's good. But when you got Malik Neighbors and Tyreek Hill out, that really sucks. The Tyreek Hill one was nasty.
That was nasty, man.
And I didn't even see that live. I just saw the highlights.
Do you think his career's over?
I don't know if we'll ever see the same version of him. I hate to say that, but he's 31. He'll be 32. Maybe. I don't want to count him out because even though he's had some personal stuff, that dude has worked his tail off. So I don't want to count him out. But I do wonder,
Yeah. If it was me, I could never step foot on a football field again if that was me. Yeah. That was nasty. He was like smiling and stuff afterwards though. So I don't know. Maybe he has a different mentality than I do, but
he's a unique dude. He really is. Yeah, that one was crazy. Speaking of the Dolphins really quick and all the injuries, are they your biggest surprise for a team that not that we thought they'd be good? Yeah, he may not play again next year, which would be crazy because then he'd be coming back at 33, but he'd be like almost 2 years removed. That might actually be a scenario. Maybe he can come back and have a couple of years. I don't know. That's a hard one to predict. Are the Dolphins like they're 1-3? Is this even worse than you expected for them, or is that about where you had them at? Like, we don't have to spend a ton of time on that one, but like I didn't expect much, but I thought they'd be a little better on offense than they've been so far for the most part.
Right. Yeah. I had them kind of like in that kind of like middle range, like 7, 8 wins, maybe. Because I feel like they're like, that's what they are. They're like usually like just mediocre. Yeah. Like occasionally they'll slip into the playoffs here and there, but like they're just mediocre. That's what I was kind of expecting. I wasn't expecting them to be that bad. Like the week 1, I was like, dude, they look bad. And I know I think they were playing the Colts in week 1.
They played the Colts. They looked decent against Buffalo. They did beat the Jets last week. Colts
that's not saying much.
No. I mean, the Jets, this week, good for them that they play the Cowboys. That could be I had people ask me if they should start Justin Fields. I was like, you should start anybody against the Cowboys defense. But then I was also thinking, I'm starting Pickens with confidence this week, even against Sauce, because that Jets defense has been bad. The Jets have been bad.
Speaking of Sauce, did you see that ridiculous one-hander that Emeka Egbuka had over Sauce Gardner?
Oh, that was beautiful.
That was dirty.
Egbuka is... I buddy got him in fantasy. I'm jealous. He is gonna be.
I have him too.
He already is awesome, dude. He really is.
I freaking love that guy.
Thank you, Queen of the Premier. The Rams are loaded. Okay, I want to get into some week 4 just a little bit. We can kind of hit some pretenders and contenders as we go. This isn't like the best slate of games, but there's some intriguing matchups. The Houston Texans against the Ravens how long is Lamar going to be out for? Do you think?
I don't know. I would say probably. I don't know if there's been a official report on that yet, but I feel like it would be a couple weeks at least.
That's what I was thinking.
Because his thing is running, right? And yes. I know he can pass the ball, but his thing is running. And when you have an injury like that, you got to be fully healthy before you can come back and play.
They marked him out, level. And they're 1-3. The reason I went into that game, the Texans have been a mess. They're favored. Do you think they're cooked?
The Ravens?
Yeah. As a contender?
As a
Like,
true
it's hard to say
contender,
it right now, but now they're gonna have to go on the road against the Bills, or if the Chiefs figure it out, or the Colts if they stay good.
yeah.
Chargers, they're gonna be on the road against any of those teams.
Yeah, as a true contender, I would say yes, they are cooked. So they're a pretender, even if they do make the playoffs. But I will say this, and this I'm kind of proud of myself for this one. So
Yeah? Yeah.
when we did our playoff predictions,
Yep.
there's some of them that haven't looked so good so far, but this one looks pretty good.
We can ignore those ones.
I did have the Ravens making the playoffs, but I said that the Ravens were going to make the playoffs, not winning their division. I didn't have the
Ooh.
Ravens winning their division
Steelers?
because, well, I actually had the Bengals,
It happens.
but then Joe Burrow. So,
We didn't know. Yeah.
right. So I had the Ravens not winning their division because the last time that a team in that division has won their division more than 2 years in a row was like in the 70s.
Oh, it's even further back than the NFC East. Wow.
Yeah, but it's not like the same like back to back. It's more than twice in a row. So there's been a bunch of teams that have done it twice in a row, but since I believe it was the 70s that no team has won it more than twice in a row. And so the Ravens had won it the previous 2 years, and I like to look at patterns and stuff like that. So
okay.
I was like, the Ravens won it last 2 years, so they're not going to win it this year. And so I did have them making the playoffs, but I did not have them winning their division. So that prediction is looking pretty good so far, as far as them not winning their division.
By the way, you nailed it. It was since the 90s, 4 years with the Steelers and the 70s Steelers, but you absolutely spot on. The Jags, which were part of that division back in the late 90s, you nailed it. It hasn't been more than 2, and it's the Ravens after back-to-back for the Bengals. Good call, dude. It's been over 30 years, which is longer than the NFC East. Interesting. I didn't catch that one. That's interesting. I like
that. Is absolutely wild, by the way. The fact that no team has repeated as champions in the NFC East since the Eagles did it from 01 to 04, like that's nuts. That's absolutely nuts.
That's gonna get broken this year, absolutely. Unless Philly just forgets how to play football, which it feels like they kind of are right now, and they're still winning. So
I've also said this. So the Eagles are this year's regular season Kansas City Chiefs.
Yes.
And they are just finding a way to just somehow magically win a game because the universe says that they're going to win.
So do you think they're going to repeat while we're on that topic? Because to be honest, I'm excited about this week. I don't either, but who's going to knock them out? Like
that's the thing I'm trying to figure out. And the reason I don't think they're going to go to the Super Bowl. Okay. Well, maybe they might go to the Super Bowl. The reason I don't think they're going to win the Super Bowl is because this is another pattern just in the NFC. In the NFC, the last time that a team went to the Super Bowl in back-to-back years was the Seahawks in 13 and 14. And they did not win it in both years. Then the last team
that was the Patriots won the second one, right?
Yes.
The Marshawn Lynch crap.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So then the last time before that was the Packers when they went to the Super Bowl in back-to-back years, but 90s. they did not win the Super Bowl in back-to-back years. That's and then true. the last team to win back-to-back Super Bowls in the NFC is the Dallas Cowboys in the 90s.
My money would be on the Bills then. Even though I don't want their defense, I feel like this is Josh Allen's turn because I thought it'd be either him or Lamar Jackson because the last team to do the Super Bowl 4 times in the AFC while we're on patterns was the Bills, and they lost all 4. The Chiefs to go back again, that would be 4. It hasn't been done in 30 years, and that's why I didn't think they'd win last year because nobody's three-peated, and the hunger aspect, and they didn't look like they had it. I'm with you. I just don't know what team other than the Bills. That's the only team I feel good about saying that I think has a legitimate chance to beat them. I think the Packers at their ceiling can. I think the Lions at their ceiling can. The Bucks have had not this year, but they've had Philly's number. Thank you, Janae. I appreciate it. The Bucks have had their number. Right. And they beat them in the playoffs.
Here's the thing is we've seen them almost lose to Dallas. We've seen them. The Chiefs were close. The Bucks were close.
1-score games. You nailed it, man. They're the 24 Chiefs. 4 1-score games.
Right. everybody's been close. So I know that says something about a team when you can escape those games that often, but eventually it's going to catch up to you. Like, look at how the Chiefs started the year. They weren't able to do the same thing that they did last year in the regular season. And so eventually it will catch up to you. Will it be this year? I mean, for me, hopefully, and for you too, hopefully, but I don't know.
I think they're a year away. When they grabbed Reggie White in the 90s, they had the Eagles, they had the Cowboys then to overcome. And it took 3 full years and they didn't win it till the 4th year. I still think they either got to get healthy. I think they've almost got all the pieces. I think the thing that's missing is the number 1 receiver. I feel like the defense is mostly set. I didn't love what I saw in Dallas. Maybe a defensive back, but 1 or 2 little pieces. I think Philly proved, and I know they're not using them right now, but I don't think they're going to win this Super Bowl without AJ Brown. They didn't last year. They needed him. If they're going to win this Super Bowl, Jalen Hurts and AJ Brown and Devonta Smith, they're going to need them in the playoffs.
Can we get into that for a sec? Because
absolutely, man.
There's been
we can
some
go
talk,
wherever we want. Yeah,
there's been some talk about AJ Brown being traded.
There has,
and
he's been upset.
I'm like, if you're the Philadelphia Eagles, why would you do that? Like, I know, you've got, the drama queen receiver and all that stuff, which is annoying. But why would you trade a guy like that?
I wouldn't. I would sit down, talk with him, and see if you can get him to get on the same page, or just let him be ticked. But you can't let him go, because that would, no matter, they wouldn't turn him to us. But if you trade him to New England, or you trade him to, gosh, I don't know who needs a number 1 receiver. I mean, I don't think he'd go back to Tennessee. They're terrible, but who knows? They might turn him to anybody, and that'd be hilarious. But you, as much as I like Devonta Smith and Goddard, and they may be able to do it anyways, I don't think you're repeating without them. Like, that is the piece that my team needs. Those guys don't grow on trees. They just don't.
Right. And even if AJ Brown is not getting the ball, the fact that he's on the field is helping the Eagles significantly, because at any time he could get the ball and make a big play.
He's a threat.
But I just don't understand why he's complaining. Like, dude, you haven't lost a game. Why are you complaining?
Yeah, me and my wife. Oh my gosh, if the Packers got him, I think it'd be like the Micah thing. But I don't know if a receiver is going to get available. But I don't know why he is, man. Is winning more important, or is getting the ball? Like, I know he got his ring, but like,
I think that's why. I think that's why. Because he has a ring. Because he has a ring now. He's like, I'm already a Super Bowl champion. I just want the ball.
That's what changes players, and that's what it seems like has changed the Eagles. Although whenever they lose Lane Johnson, that offensive line isn't the same. But the hunger doesn't seem to be there. But they have so much talent, it doesn't matter right now. But it's a long season. I'm almost happy like our teams have had some adversity now, and then most of the injuries aren't season ending, because we're going to get guys back, and it's who's peaking late typically. Like, look at Philly last year. They were 2-2. They only lost 1 more game the rest of the way, and it was that game Jalen Hurts went out where Jaden Daniels went berserk. They won every other game the rest of the way.
What week was that? Do you remember?
Week 13 or 14. I think it was 14.
I think that was the week. Yeah, it had to be later, because
14 or 15. Yeah. I'm sorry. It's an 18-week season now. You're right. There was 2 or 3 games left. So it was I think there was 2 more games after that than the playoffs. So I think it was week 16.
Yeah, it had to be, because I am so upset about this. So last year in my work league, in fantasy, I was undefeated whole season. And in the first round of the playoffs, Jalen Hurts goes out with a concussion, and I lose because of Jalen Hurts. And I'm like, ouch. Dude, of course, man. The whole season I was undefeated. First round of the playoffs, I lose because Jalen Hurts goes out of that game. I'm like, dude, you have got to be freaking kidding me.
That really sucks. Yeah, that would hurt, dude. He played 15 games last year. So yeah, it was the beginning of week 16. So yeah, if you were on bye, that was your divisional game. I'm sorry, dude.
Yeah, that was the absolute worst. I was like, of course that would happen.
Yeah. Well, wait, he played week 15. I don't know if that was week 15. It was one of those weeks. I can't figure out which one it was, but yeah, man, I I think the NFC, it's weird. I don't know if they'll win, but it's a lot deeper than the AFC. There's a lot of teams. I could see it going a lot of ways. I know you've only got about 10, 15 more minutes. So this has been fun though, man. Like I'm really happy you did this. Okay. So let's talk a couple week 5 games. Denver, Philly. Do you give Denver a shot in this game, or you think Philly goes to 5-0 while we're on them?
I am so disappointed in the Broncos right now.
We'll hit that in a minute.
I'm so disappointed in the Broncos right now. Like
I
I was
know.
so high on them coming into the season. Like I mentioned before, we're all Oregon fans on our podcast, and so we love Bo Nix. And I was super high on him. Like I guess the sophomore slump is like a real thing because dude, he hasn't looked very good. The defense has not looked anywhere near how they looked last season. And so maybe it's just going to take him a little bit more time, but I'm really hoping that they can step it up against the Eagles because I don't know. I think Philly's going to take that game too, but probably by like some last second blocked field goal or something like that. Something stupid like that.
I think Vegas is catching on. They're only favored by 4 in Philly. So they're favored, but not by that much because they're just squeaking out wins.
Right.
Vegas went through this last year with KC. They're like, okay, we're not doing this again. I think Philly wins too, but that Denver D, here's the thing. That Denver D is really good. They're not quite playing to their potential, but they're still 3rd in points, 8th in yards. If they can hold Philly down, it's just hard to go on the road defensively. I do think Philly pulls out another win. They're going to lose at some point soon if they keep playing with fire like this, because what the Chiefs did last year was historically crazy. It's not going to happen again. Your Bucks go play the Seahawks. I wanted to talk about this game. 3.5-point favorite. Seahawks have been pretty good actually. What do you think?
I'm a little bit nervous. I'm not gonna lie. I'm nervous for the next 3 games actually because we play the Seahawks, then the Niners, and then the Lions. And so it's going to be, and we're very banged up. Yes, but I do think that the Bucks can compete in those games, and I feel like that they have a shot to win all 3 of those games. Just because I'm not going to ever count them out of a game, but I am a little bit nervous just because of how banged up we are. And I saw a stat today that I'm pretty sure it was like last season when the Bucks didn't have Mike Evans, they were 0-4, and they're not going to have Mike Evans for at least 2 more weeks. And so that doesn't look good. I mean, I know they have Igbuka now. They didn't have him last season, but still he's a rookie. Like, he's made some really, really good plays, but I don't know. He's not the same threat level as Mike Evans.
I agree. Plus, he's a vet. That means so much to that team. You're gonna have Ibuka. You're gonna have Godwin. You're not gonna have Bucky Irving. You're not gonna have Jamal Dean. You're not gonna have Mike Evans, McMillan. That is a lot of guys down.
I will say on the defensive side, though, I know any starter being out on defense is not good, but on the defensive side, Jacob Parrish, their rookie corner, 3rd-round pick from Kansas State, dude, that guy is an absolute baller. If you have not looked up stats of that guy, just go watch him. Like I sent a highlight reel to my fellow Bucks fan, Avery, my co-host, last night, and I was like, dude, just watch this guy. He's an absolute stud.
Send it to me later. I remember I scouted him a bunch because I do a bunch of mock draft stuff in March and April. Send it to me. I want to check it out.
Yeah, I will.
Y'all's defense, yardage-wise, has been great, not points. You're 4th in yards, if you can believe that. Partly because of him, you're 9th in passing, but your defense is 5th in rushing yards. If they can stop, I think it's partly because of the turnovers. Because where are you guys at?
Well, here's the thing. Here's the biggest weakness
problem
for the Bucks right now. The biggest weakness for the Bucks right now, aside from injuries, is special teams. In that game against the Jets,
our teams have some common stuff going on.
In that game against the Jets, they almost lost because special teams failed them when the Jets returned a block for a touchdown. They almost lost. They had to go. Yeah. And then against
that stuff matters,
the
man.
Eagles, right? Exactly. Against the Eagles, they had that blocked punt for a touchdown right at the beginning of the game. That stuff matters. They can't. They got to cut that crap. Because that's the biggest weakness for the Bucs.
You got to clamp that down. It can't happen. You can't have special teams be such a problem Like I'm experiencing it too, where it's impacting the rest of the team. Like the Texans, it's the O line. There's a few teams like both of ours where the special teams is literally bringing your squad down. And I'm like, do you just need to fire a special teams coach? Like, what needs to happen? Like,
Right.
this is when it's that bad, you can't let that stuff kill your team.
Right.
And
And that's the problem is like we also just talked about recently on our show our top 3 MVP candidates. And maybe this was because I'm a Bucs fan, but I put Baker Mayfield at 3. His stats don't even look good. He's completing less than 60% of his passes. He's not on pace to throw for 4,000 yards, but the reason I put him at 3 is because he's been put in very bad situations by his special teams specifically, and he's had to bring them back.
it's a lot on his
So
shoulders.
that is it. When your special team sucks, it puts a lot more pressure on your quarterback to perform. So that's why I put Baker Mayfield at 3 in my MVP rankings after week 4, even though his stats don't look that great. But just because of the fact that he's been able to get them 3 wins and almost get a 4th, that's why I put him at 3, because he's just been able to keep them in games and win those games, as when his special teams has just been total crap and not doing me any favors.
No, that's fair. I mean, he's made like that end of the game, he made mistakes, but when you're having to do Herculean things, I mean, there's not many quarterbacks in the league that aren't going to turn the ball over. I can only think of like, frankly, like what Josh Allen and Mahomes at his best. Like, there's not a lot of guys. Like,
Right.
even Lamar made mistakes in the playoffs last year. It's hard to not turn the ball over. There's not a lot of guys that are going to be able to lift the team up without having like everyone's going to have a mishap or two. But that's part of Baker's game. You live and die by that. We talked about it earlier. But you know, I like the way the Seahawks have been playing. I really do. Their offense has been solid. Points wise, they're kind of the opposite of y'all. They're good at getting the ball in the end zone. They're middle of the pack in yards. I think y'all come back and win this game. And not just
I
for
hope so.
you, I'm not just saying it for you. I know that Seattle's favored by 3.5, but y'all are down a lot of pieces. I think Rashad White can do just enough in the running game and as a receiver to help make up for those other guys. I think you guys squeak this one out.
Yeah, I really hope so. And maybe it's because they're going to be wearing their throwback jerseys. Those throwback jerseys for the Bucks. Have you seen those?
I love
Dude, they're
those
pretty
throwback
sweet.
jerseys,
They're
dude.
pretty sweet, man.
The throwbacks for the Bucks are one of my favorites. I can't remember if that's what I said on Twitter earlier, but that's one of my teams I want. Oh, it was the Broncos actually. But I love the colors, man. Like go back to like I'm not saying I don't like what you got now, but the throwback is pretty sweet.
Yeah, the throwbacks are cool.
Okay, so I'm picking Bucks. Are you picking your Bucks?
Of course, I'm going to pick the Bucks.
There you go.
I mean, I'm not gonna pick them every week, but there's certain games in there where I don't feel like they're gonna win. But I in this one, I'm gonna pick them. I do think it's gonna be a hard fought game again, and the Seahawks aren't gonna make it easy. But I am picking them to get the win. I'm not picking them to get like a blowout or anything. But I think they're gonna win in a close game, and it's gonna be another game where they're gonna have to do everything right when it comes down to the end.
Oh, I get that. Okay. I know you said about an hour, so I got one more if you got time. What do you
Yeah.
think of that Chiefs Jags Monday night game? There's a couple others, but the Chiefs Jags Monday night. You think that the Chiefs roll again, or do you trust this Jags defense that's been playing? Let me pull it up. The Chiefs are favored by 3.5 in Jacksonville. The Jags offense has been a little bit of a mess. They're middle of the pack in points, middle of the pack in yards, but that defense has been pretty good, at least in points and rush D. Do you think that they are able to slow down Mahomes, or do you think the Chiefs roll?
So here's what I'll say about the Jags. Defense looks good. ETN looks really good. Trevor Lawrence looks like crap.
I don't know how this guy is a franchise. You asked the question.
Yeah.
I wanted to hit it, but we did a lot of stuff in this hour. We need to do another show soon. What makes a franchise quarterback? It's a big question. You asked that question. I don't think it's Trevor Lawrence.
It's not Trevor Lawrence. He looks like garbage.
No, dude.
He is being bailed out by the rest of his team for sure, because he does not look good at all. So I think the Chiefs are going to take this one. If the Jags do win this game, I think we have to start taking them seriously. But but I don't see them winning this game, especially because the Chiefs they looked a lot better on offense with Worthy back in.
Mhm.
And when they get Rice back, they're going to look pretty scary on offense, I feel like. So
I do too, even without a running game. The only way I think the Jags win this, I was looking at it, they're fourth in rushing with ETN, and the Chiefs' run D is 22nd. They're going to have to control that. But the Chiefs need this game. They don't want to go 2-3. You know,
right.
They're going to have to, ETN's going to have a game. And that defense, the pass D, the problem is the Jags' pass D is 24th. They're going to have to be much better than that to slow down Mahomes. So I'm with you, dude. I get it. I'm going to try to be good. I said an hour. Dude, this was a blast. I really appreciate it.
Yeah,
Thank
it was fun, man. Thanks for having me on.
What you got coming up on your show? When do you guys record? Plug all your socials. The floor is yours, man.
Yeah, so we actually have never done a live show yet. I don't really know the
Oh.
reason as to why. We just
No. I started that way too.
But yeah, so we record on Tuesdays, and then the episode comes out every Wednesday, usually like later in the afternoon on Wednesday, so before the next week of the season starts.
Mhm.
And then we've got you can find us on Instagram, you can find us on X, TikTok, we're on YouTube, Facebook. And so just make sure you guys, I said at the beginning, make sure you guys search the NFL podcast part at the end of Three Guys, Six Balls. So you don't find some unwanted things there. So yeah, but we appreciate any following, any comments on our posts, anything like that. So we appreciate all the support.
Thanks, man. I forgot to do this at the beginning. It's been a really long week of a lot of paperwork, but thank you to Rotobot AI for sponsoring SportCoin and Undefeated Live. Thank you for sponsoring the show. I need to do better with that in the beginning. I'll do some shorts this weekend, but dude, great show. Good luck this weekend. I think you guys can win this one. In Seattle's a little rough, but this is where we're going to find out if the Bucks can do what the 49ers are doing and kind of weather the storm.
Right.
So we'll see. But thank you, dude. The video, this live was up on Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. I'm gonna post it and re-tag you. But everybody else, please go subscribe. Go check out. You're on Spotify, right? And Apple Pods.
Yep.
Awesome, man. Go check out Three Guys, Six Balls podcast. They have a lot of cool, awesome takes, like what makes a franchise quarterback. A whole bunch of awesome questions. I've been watching their videos for months now. Go check them out on all the socials. And I appreciate it, guys. I won't see you guys for a couple Fridays, but I've been doing some TikTok streams. I'll see you guys in a couple weeks. Thank you and good night.